understanding so that I won't be distracted by the big front that's going on in the world right now. Most people are just fronting, putting on an act. They don't know it, or they don't know what's going on. So thank you for not being distracted by the weapons of mass distraction that goes on in the world. Just it's just a show. It's not there's not very much true reality. It's all very controlled. I can see that. I can see that. It's very obvious. They're doing this by the script. They're doing this by it's just a big act. So a lot of distraction out there. Not many people are have an understanding of where we're at celestially, spiritually. Um, the testament that he made 2,600 years ago. It's we're so far from that as a society. The great falling away. So definitely don't want to participate in it. I entitled this Fight or Flight, so you can pick on what you want to do. You can sit there in revolution, red, blue team, and fight with, that's what the governments want. They want the people to fight with each other. They want wars. You can tell that they fund that. That's what they do. The governments fund all this military. Eisenhower warned us about the military industrial complex, all this weapons of mass distraction going on. People have forgotten where we're at. And this is all going by their plan. They're not, I remember my dad told me, I don't have to like the government, but they know what they're doing. So, not in a sense, because everything in my eyes, they mess up, but the underlying plan is still moves forward, whether it's red or blue, or doesn't really matter. We saw lockstep, a worldwide governance during the roll up your sleever event that they had the control. But I think, again, I know what it's about, and so I don't care what the world thinks, because the world's doing a big act. Most everybody's acting, and 99+% of the world doesn't even know celestially that we were witness to the passing of an age. The same thing that happened at the time of Christ. The Star of Bethlehem, the same thing that happened at the time of Christ. There's many things that have happened that have that same hados. They're in that same way. So I'm not trying to be in this world anymore. I'm a flight guy, so I'm out. Check, see ya, bye. I'm out of here. I don't do it. I already did. I'm 1 foot in the system, 1 foot out of the system, but be in the world, but not of the world. So I'm just doing what my father told me to do. I'm more trying to push the flight mode and not fight. I'm a meek man, not weak. And so I'm a pacifist now. I'm a veteran. I've done my dirty deeds, and so I'm done. So fight or flight, you need to make a decision on what you're going to do and start making a plan. Do what you want. I'm not trying to change anybody. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. The world as I see it, a bunch of actors on the television acting out, this world, control 8 families, control nearly half the world's resources. So, and children die in the streets, and the people support these people and these governments and these corporations. So remember, I'm not a corporation. I'm not participating in any of that. I've stood up as much as I can. I've done everything I can, and I'm not going to, until they throw me in the dirt, I'm going to stand up 10-toe and get the hell out of here. That's flight. I'm not going to do this fighting. They want a revolution. They want people to red team, blue team, again, fight with each other. I'm an evolution, not like man evolved from apes, and why are there still apes? But evolution, like to evolve and go around the system, self-sufficiency, self-sustainability. I tried to do it. I couldn't do it so well. I think it's better for me to just go live in the woods, go live off nature and stop trying to put on this big front. You know, it's just, it's not for me. I have the skill set to be able to survive. I tried to have, I tried to form a community. It just didn't happen. So I'm not upset at the world or anybody in it. It's between me and the Father. If He wanted it to happen, it would humming right now. I'd get up and I'd go do the things that I need to do with the community. But because He's separated me and set me apart, um, there's safety in numbers, and I don't have not one. So it's better for me to be alone, a loner like I already am, I guess. Just run out of time. It's near winter here. It's already, I mean, I lit a fire last night, you know. Man, it goes quick. The times, the days, where's the time go? So, um, like I said, just an exit strategy is my plan, to be able to have that. So I'm not sitting there like a duck in a pond and get picked off. That's not smart. I have a military skill set and done law enforcement. And so I have a pretty extensive background in training and survival and all different kinds of training, Arctic training, mountaineer, extreme cold weather. And that's where we're headed to. We're headed into this. If you pay attention, the last 2 years, the Atlantic Ocean was at you know, record heat. And we've dodged a pretty good, some pretty good. There hasn't been any super, there's, major hurricanes. I thought we were going to get more, but it's okay. I think God has a restrainer on this place. It should already be burnt with fire. The judgment should have already come in my eyes, but who am I to question His time? So we are that evil and adulterous generation. I gave you the sign, that evil and adulterous generation will look for a sign. The only sign they'll be given is the gospel, the resurrection. In darkness, 3 days of darkness, and then a rising. That's the predestination. That's the gospel. So I've already given the signs that I can give, multiple ways that they've done it with Honga Tonga, and then the April 8th event, getting ready for this, what I believe is a shifting again of this gas giant, celestial, Jovian pinch, the Lobos, that's going to happen. And irregardless if the tides lift, and come up onto the land, there's already a shaking, earthquakes in diverse places, war and famine and pestilence, and many of these things we've done for. That's what I'm saying. It's everybody wants everything now. They want that day, and we shouldn't look for that day. We should be happy that He's being merciful and giving people time to, be rebuked, so they can have that chance to not just sit there and feel like their life is ruined because they made a mistake. Are you guilt motivated person? And I don't mean like that, but you don't feel like I don't mean to be like that. I heard somebody say it. I'm like, wow, I've never even heard that term before, but that you're not worthy of the time that you have here on this earth. You didn't do it right. You got to come back and do it again, or just stay here in the dirt. That's hell. Busos, bathos, knowledge, no knowledge. You're stripped of it. You're done. Gnashing the teeth. That's it. You don't need a new body. We're all, it is what it is. You think whatever you want. I'm not good. I'm trying to change anybody anymore. We're in the world's 6th extinction event already. Congratulations, world. 99% of you made it 4+ years into this extinction event. You didn't even know it happened. Wow. See, isn't God miraculous? So, everybody thinks extinction. They're like, oh, we're all going to die. Yeah, that's right. In the end, we all die, but not like you think. Fear. Fear will motivate you too, get you up off your, you know what, and make you do something. Oh my gosh, I think I live in Tornado Alley. I don't have a tornado shelter. I could be blown. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. You know, this ain't the Wizard of Oz here. This is reality. So, but they got people all forwarded, twisted, and perverted, and spinning around on a ball, and thinking God is in the sky. I mean, what kind of moronic behavior is this world come to? But that's okay. Just judging with righteous judgment. You know, so me too. I just so ready for death. But we got to keep trying, Stone. We got to push. He said we must endure. If there's one word in scripture that definitely keeps me from, you know, I'm a veteran. I already have the excuse. Well, he had a lot of PTSD. He couldn't handle it anymore. So we found him all, you know, his head was on the side of the wall or something, you know, whatever. So, but no, he said we must endure to the end. Can't do it. We can't ever, you know, even God will do it in his time. So yeah, come on, tornado, stare it right in the face, right? If he's going to take you, he's going to protect you. And I'm not saying you just go, you know, be stupid and do dumb things. I'm not insinuating that, but if he doesn't want you to go, you won't go. I've seen that in my life. Many of us seen God in times like that, you know, really. God shows all his time, all a lot to me. I mean, again, I said that yesterday in the stream, that when the Most High shows himself during really horrible times, I know he's in my life, you know, for sure. So it's that kind of footprints thing, guys, where that's not biblical, but it's kind of, it's nice word salad there that, you know, we think he bailed on us, but he's really just carrying us. You know, we look back and think that, you know, he left us, but that's what I'm saying. There's a continuance. So same thing. The dark side's playing their side. We, you know, the people who are trying to do righteous and upright things, not mean that we're above or trying to shine or rise pride above anybody else. Just, you know, this world has gone mad, you know, it's just weird science. Let me tell you, a bunch of twisted, spinning, corkscrewing, third dimension rock from the sun through time and space people, and I'm not one of those. You can't corkscrew or spin me. Again, that would be the Hebrew word forward, to twist or to change or to pervert, and you're not doing that to me. No, thank you. I don't like to talk about shapes. You know, that's kind of childish, so I don't have the discussion or ban anybody for talking about shapes in this channel and where they're going to put their, you know, square peg and who's round hole, or doesn't matter to me. There's effects. So I talk about the celestial geometry, about this gas check. Oh, let me get some rain out here in the desert. You guys subscribe to DAP 2030 and seeing David, because he's also talking about, he's the only other person talking about this Jovian pinch. He won't talk about it the way that I talk about it, but he has his evidence, and I have the evidence that I put forward on this channel, on the channel video content, where there's a 10-24 video. It's just about a minute, so you can have the attention span of a near fly and watch it, and hopefully you get it, because people are in the swipe generation, you know, on to the next 30-second, to the next episode, you know, the whatever, if you will. But these things used to stay on the front page for about a week before now that's so 30 seconds ago. Yeah, about 30 seconds ago, that I can see right through them. It's like they've gone opaque on me. So they're in their own world, in their own head. It's hard to have people to hold a conversation, but it's 1 minute video. There's another one on there called the Sixth Extinction Event. You might want to look at that. They already known every catastrophic event that's ever happened in history. They can find through the strata, the paleoclimatology records. They have ice core data. It's going to get loud. I got a tin roof in the cabin. Gonna get rain in the windows. Oh well. Let me see. All right. Well, I don't know if you probably can still hear me. Anyways, as this saga continues, called life, you know, we have to endure. Why does everybody talk about 2030? Oh, adapt 2030. Yeah, this is not the end of any time. Okay, guys. There's no end of any time. That's already passed. You missed that. Whoa, 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 whoa. How many times can I tell you that every video ends? Whoa, why do I say that? Welcome to the new age. Because we already made it. Like I said, you already made it. That's why I want you to take a look at that 1 minute video on sixth extinction. You've already entered the sixth extinction age. You've already entered the new age. You're already in the age of Aquarius. There's a lot of things that have already happened, and everybody's waiting, and there's no end. There's no end. We don't ever end. You either lay in the dirt and gnash teeth for a time and season, or you get a new body after he burns this place with fire. It's not complex. It's not hard. It's elementary. So you can't change a jot or tittle. Nothing in that book is going to be changed. You understand? Every jot and every tittle will come to pass. Cool. I'm just not trying to be like, I just don't like people do the fear thing. They did that with the Mayan calendar, and that's actually 12-1 solar cycle off. So how long is a solar cycle? That was nearly, 11.9 years. So that was 12. It's 1 year's forward. That's a word salad. They play on people. You know, they play, it's called verbal voodoo. Yeah. Cursive and curses and spelling, and, you know, casting spells. You don't understand. Most people, not you, and not particularly pointing at any, that this resonance, frequency, value, the Hebrew used to have literal vibration. Our words mean they have literal frequency. What we speak into this existence is the BBO effect. Is probably the one of the strongest effects in this realm that we live in, this third dimension. Remember, don't try to corkscrew and spin me. You know, what you speak, you can speak into water. You can, it's, I don't know how much you've studied, you know, Babel or tongue, or how that, what your vernacular, how much you've studied language, and but all our words have frequency, and now that's been toned down. Even the music has been changed, the frequency. So see, that's what's happening, and David talks a little bit about that too, because he knows, not in a ton of he knows, but he doesn't talk a ton of detail in it. He hits on this changing of the magnetism from our, you know, this pitch, and how it's going to cause changes. Kind of like you have a left and a right brain in your hemisphere, right? And people, positive and negative polarity, like a sun and a moon, if you will. And people are very restrained in their thoughts, and they don't think outside the box, you know, very one or two dimensional, maybe three like a box, but they're in a box, and they don't ever think outside of the box. That would be actually the fourth dimension. Welcome to the fourth dimension. Can you speak outside the box? Can you think outside the box? Can you, you know, these are things that are not restrained, if you will. So, but everything still has, you know, value and frequency. And so they're playing on everybody, whether people understand what's happening in this. You know, I want you to think about things that have been built on this earth that we don't have the tech to build. You know, yes, we do. It's just been hidden from us. And there's a family that's responsible, and it's Trump. It's the 45th president, you know, pretendant mass murderer in chief of the military, and militaries under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. His family, John Trump, was messing with this millimeter wave, and so was Tesla. And so I didn't realize this until about less than a year ago. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, man. Like, I'm serious. It just crushed me that if we had this tech, we'd already be done. We'd already be done. Done. Don't you understand? We'd try to get out of here. There's no getting out of here. We're in a closed system. There's no space. There's none of this nonsense. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing the space balls with people. I'm not. Remember, shapes and balls and spinning around. I'm not doing it. I refuse to sit here in this time and in this space to sit there and believe the nonsense, because it's not of the word. So it's worldly, in a world spinning around, forward, corkscrew, spin, pervert, change, whatever. People can think whatever they want in this, time, but it's just, like I said, that's just television. It's TV, television, telling lies to their, schooling them when they're young, and so they go with the flow, and stay between the, channeled, right, programmed. Words, brothers, sisters, are very powerful. People forget the things that they speak into this existence have a lot of different. Um, so if you use that type of frequency and then you put that to the tech, you'd understand. You'll start understanding what I'm saying, that we can't, if we would have had this tech, and now I realize that that's why it has been restrained. That's why Donald Trump's family did steal the tech from Tesla and has been holding it. And, Mr. Stinky Muskrat will only let you go 500 miles an hour, or 500 miles on a single charge. In 1800s, you go double that. I told you, it's been restrained. It's restrained. It's not hidden anymore. We're in the age of Aquarius. The veil has been lifted. It's the apocalypse. We live in the apocalypse. We live in the last book of Scripture. So there's no more hiding that from people like me. That's what I'm not trying to sit there and change anything in this forward or twist or pervert anything that got jot or tittle of. He warned us that was his very last words. So I'm not trying to change anybody, cause anybody to stumble, or people can make up their own minds. But remember, left and right brain hemisphere, restrained, retarded, advanced, that's like a carburetor. You either a throttle, you can, right? So they're throttled down, and I'm not trying to speed them up or slow them down or any of that. I'm just, when I'm a veteran, it's lead, follow, or get the fuck out of the way, so remember, fight or flight is what I said. So I'm not fighting God's will. I pray for his will. That's all I pray for. I don't pray for anything else. He already knows and wrote all things and knows what I want even before I ask for it. He's the one who wrote that, all the decisions before, either through self or his, idolatry or agape. I'm not going to I'm trying to keep this and not go into a big teaching about the lesson and God, because it's hard for me not to do that. I could try to talk about a subject, but then I'll just go into preaching the gospel and it'll be over. We'll be done talking about whatever. So, it always relates, but hallelujah. So, De Lobos, the pinching of this magnetics, of this celestial pinch geometry, squaring off of these gas giants. We do come into 525. I'll encourage you to stay with David and me as long as these channels stay up, as long as this keeps going, because there will eventually, if you look at the sun right now, I can't believe how many, sun spots are on the sun with all the magnetic mixing that's going on, and we ain't got roasted, guys. We're so lucky that we have this interweb right now up and not down. They have one, then they'll put it up when they put it, but you won't have a search bar anymore. There'll be none of this social media will be gone. You'll still have the internet. The internet can still exist without social media, and the internet can exist without your search engine. You'll be able to swipe up and down, but you'll stay within their box, their windows, and you move up and down within I already know what they're going to do. Central back, digital, everything ball and chained to the tracked and traced, and that you'll be a part of that system, or you'll be feral. You'll be an outlaw. You'll be out there on, I'm an Indian outlaw. See, I already told you, run! No, just kidding. Just kidding. Don't do anything too fast like that. Whoa, hey, watch it. No, seriously. It's a fight or flight mode, man. Most people won't get out of the way, My bad, it's early. I'm a morning person, so I don't mourn, but, just trying to, seriously, there's two modes. You want to keep playing this game? Left, right, Democrip, Bloodbakin, donkey, and elephant. I already told you, stock up on the lamb. Stop playing this circus. Yeah, everything's hold on, and it was gonna read you guys the space race parties leaping in front of each other through cycling, American call, entertainment, and information. Yeah, so I personally don't have any belief in anything outside the firmament. Nothing there. It's just cold, icy water that just never ends. How about that? You'll never be able to penetrate. So he'll open it up though. Remember, the skies roll back like a scroll. He'll open up that firmament. It's going to open up, and he's going to open up the pit. The earth will open up. You better get ready for columns, trees, 180,000 foot tall trees. Well, not little trees, but rocks. Now, we'll see. I'm jumping ahead of myself. And that's what I'm saying. Whatever. Run. And don't run. Just do it at a moderate pace and get out of the system right now. Keep 1 foot in the system, put 1 foot out of the system, get a plan, and then when it happens, just check out. That way you already got an exit strategy. That's how I've been trying to get people to understand this. You don't have to totally check out of the system. I understand it's hard. Not everybody could just, bam, run, right? So, you know, it's okay to still exist within the system, but try to, you know, do things like maybe become your own power company, you know, something like this, you know, where you're not, nobody's, don't, is it, ask yourself, am I smart? I'm on a meter, I'm being meter. This guy's talking about being retarded or advanced, okay, like a carburetor. I'm on a smart meter. Let me ask you this, are you, is that smart? Is that kind of like that tilt the dog head thing, you know? Seriously, ask yourself, are you smart if you're being metered? And then is that smart? A smart meter, huh? Smart appliances, smart television, smart toaster, smart oven. What? Man, oh man. You didn't learn what they did in Europe, did you? Didn't you see they throttled them down and said, no, you're not going to turn your heat up. You're going to stay at the temperature we say. Metered in a box. Remember? You got to get out of the box, man. Left brain, right brain. Break the restrainer. You can use more of your brain than they tell you. You know that? Think about it. Can you feel it? I say that to people. Yeah. Oh, you can use more of your brain. You know that? You can take that thing off there. It's called being advanced, like a carburetor or like a throttle screw where you throttle it up, you advance it, or you retard it. You can actually back that off, you know. Really? Yeah. Welcome to my world. This is the world as I see it, brothers and sisters. I'm not playing this silly reindeer game with these pagans. 99% of the world are in the adversary to God. They're anti. They don't follow his word. So you're either with Christ, you're an antichrist, and to be the adversary to God means you're a Satanist. So 98% of the world plus, probably 8.9 are Satanists. They don't follow after God's word. They follow after self, and they celebrate self, and that makes them right the adversary. Birthdays are rampant and wild, and I'm not going to try to go into a big teaching, but that is the world that I live in. Everybody celebrates birth, and that only pagans and heathens celebrate, or Satanists celebrate birth. So not for me, world. You can have your Satanist world you live in, and you love your parties and your celebrations and all your Yule Wheel candy eating festivals and your sugar, poison in your body, and you know, whatever, man. Not trying to change anybody. If you look at the Deagle map, starting to make sense. If you look at this 1024 celestial event, starting to make sense. If you look at the decline in birth rates, go see Truth Stream Media, a couple that does one of the best bloggers of all time on this platform on YouTube. Love the couple. They're just great bloggers, do outstanding, fabulous work here on this platform. Talk about all the decline of all the rates of nations around, all the different nations where they're declining because their populations are producing less people. And I'm a part of it. I think that's why God has not literally cursed me, but maybe I was meant to have like 10 kids, and I only have my son, Elijah, and I got neutered, not literally my, like cut off there, but, or whatever, cauterized. sewn up, whatever they, but I wasn't even supposed to have kids anyways. I got, just didn't have didn't lack quantity. It was the quality that I was lacking. So just to have my son was kind of a miracle, but I always knew I did it to kind of make a protest to the world that I'm not bringing any more kids in this crazy world. 25 years ago, I thought the world had gone mad. I thought it was it. We were going to all die and everything was too, serious. It was hard into prepping, hardcore, doing a lot of, I was different back then, but I was still in that same kind of preparedness, not of the world mentality. And I said, no more. I don't want to, I'll adopt. I don't want to, there's too many kids. I said, if I'm the president, I become the president of the United States, I'll make having a child illegal. If you bring in a child into the world, you'll be executed. But then that whole population, because I said, well, there's too many kids that need to be adopted. So you can't have any kids until all the kids are adopted, and then you can start having kids again. That was kind of I was weird. I was different, I told people I'd buy their kids from them for silver and give them back to them. And or buy their gold when they had big pieces of gold, thought they could put all their eggs in one basket and try to come buy all my groceries or something with their gold piece. Like, yeah, right. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a bag of these groceries right here, and I'll take your daughter. What? Yeah, she'll stay here, and I'll give you 3 dimes. Is somebody stole all my silver, so I can't do that anyways. And I wasn't going to do that anyways. Now I just told people that's how you get the world. Different, man. Like I said, 25 years ago, it's a different world. Think about what time it is now. That's, 2000, all that Y2K. And I was trying to tell everybody, you guys are stupid idiots seeing the world's going to end because the computers don't turn zeros. That's the most idiotic thing I think I've ever heard in my existence. And I've been in this flesh, whatever, are you guys out of your mind? The world's going to come to an end because the computers don't change to zero. You guys are going to be so freaking disappointed. That's like your dumb rapture bullshit that you say. It doesn't say rapture. Apologies. It doesn't say that in scripture. You guys are out of your mind thinking you're getting out of here early. God's not going to. Doesn't say that in script. Where do you get that? And I used to give people a hard time for that too, about rapture and Y2K and the Mayan calendar in 2012. I'm like, you guys that's not the end of the world. It's the end of a cycle. And it's talking about a cycle coming at the end of the age. Cycle off. It's one solar cycle off. One solar cycle off. It's one solar cycle off. Are you guys out of your mind? And that doesn't mean the end of the world. It's talking about the end of an age. And that already happened. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, how many times? The world doesn't know, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the new age, This is it. The apocalypse. They already told you. They put it in music. They put it in television. They put it in radio. They put it in video games. They put it in cartoons. They put it in animation. They put it in Super Bowl halftime shows. They've been telling the whole wide corkscrew and spinning third rock from the sun world dimension through time and space that this was coming for the reset. I try to tell people breathing in the chemicals, checking out on the prison bus. I used to have the prison bus, guys. I did. I had my apocalypse bus because I was dumb back then. I thought apocalypse was Armageddon, Mad Max, we're all going to die, right? But it's not going down like that. It's controlled demolition of this country. It's already being dismantled right before your very eyes. It's not even America anymore. If you think it's America, you are living in the alternative reality. Xi Jinping already came here and planted his flag on his route to Chinatown to show you this whole wide world. I'm a veteran. You go plant your flag in another country. That's called whole wide world's been a whole different world that you're living in. That's what I'm saying. What happened to all the people in San Francisco? I want to know. Nobody ever wants to talk about that. Nobody ever wants to talk about that. Nobody. I'm the only one I know that's still talking about. Not one person has ever been talked to since. They just cleaned them up. Where do you think they went? Shipped them off to China. Ping, remember his route to when he came here? The whole, this bow down to the king, to their Gigi King pin, communist kingpin, ping, all the parade route, a couple of them candy cane, lifesaver, whatever, rainbow stripe flags. No, just a couple little American flags and nothing but yellow. Big old yellow star, 3 stars, and and red, yellow and red. The dragon, the great red dragon. Didn't they do that before the Olympics? Remember before they had Olympics over there, they went and swept up and cleaned up the streets? So remember Mr. Nuisance, because he's your wild card. I already told you that. They could run him at the last second. I already told you they'll put Biden in and you'll you won't do a damn thing. You'll just sit around and take it. You will. You'll be the silent majority. Whoever's watching this later, who's not a regular channel, you just shut up during the old masquerade, the stand on the X, roll up your sleever. Nobody came to work and said, no, boss, I got Mr. Smith here. He says I'm getting my paycheck, right? With or without a mask. I'm not taking your jab. And here, Mr. Wesson, he'll make sure I got 2 witnesses, right? I prefer cash from now on. Mr. Smith and Wesson here are going to make sure I don't care about this. I'm not wearing that stupid. Who showed up to their work and said, I'm not doing this and I got this. I'm going to use this First Amendment to tell you, and then my Second Amendment's going to protect that right. That's why it comes first and then second. Ballots, then bullets. That's the way it's set up. Redress grievances, form peaceful militias before you ever start throwing lead. And I'm not into any of that. I'm just trying to say there's no checks and balances in this country anymore. No more. Okay? So don't support this nonsense. Mr. Greatest Jab, King of the Jab. Yeah, Mr. King mRNA protein spike mimicker is what it is. Gene therapy, Mr. Operation Warp Speed. Remember? Don't ever forget this clown. Mr. Badman Orange. Orange Badman. Remember? Mr. 58 Babylonian Tower. Badman Orange. Who said that? Ransom said that on the live stream. Last night. I heard it before. If you guys don't watch the mini Ice Age conversations here on YouTube, please go over and check out Ransom Godwin, one of the most intelligent minds. I really wish Ransom would move over there with David, but I think he's in a better spot than David for this event. But we'll see. Remember, it doesn't have to be literal. There will be a shaking. A great earthquake, quakes, earth. Earth is the ruled. The earth, they will be shaken. Try to remember there's no earth like the people think. You don't live on earth. God's created the heavens and the earth. That's the ruling class and the ruled. The firmament is not the heavens. Psalms 19. The heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament declares his handiwork. Celestial geometry, brothers and sisters, like I've been telling you about. The heavens, so earth. There will be earthquakes. That's what we call the ground shaking, correct? But that's a definition. See, go see David Vos. Now listen, David is, man, I dig David. Who watched David Vos? He's been blogging on this channel forever. And nobody answered me earlier. Who did I throw out there? I threw out Adapt 2030. I threw out one more channel video. What were you saying there? I want to go back there and rewind. What was I talking about? I was talking about what other subject? Because we were talking about one other video or one other channel that I wanted you to watch. Manyfish. You guys watch Manyfish? That just came to mind. Who watches Manyfish? We're going to start throwing out some channels. We'll continue the conversation here. Who watches Manyfish? Because I want to talk about this subject right now. Actually, I meant to talk about this last time. I just get caught up in the gospel, and then I go off on, if I start talking about Mr. Thump Thump, let's start talking about the tower and all that. But who wants to talk about Mr. Earmarked? Who's done the research on this whole, everybody's gone opaque on him getting, did you see what I titled my video yesterday? What I titled the live stream? Thump is going to be the one to take your Second Amendment rights away. Remember, first ballots, then bullets. Mr. Bumpstock, Mr. Orange, Mr. Badman Orange. And I know it's talk about Ransom Godwin and many Ice Age conversations. Go see those. Ransom is incredible mind. He does a blog with David at Adapt 2030. He does the mini Ice Age Mountain High television, where it's always partly cloudy. Yeah, those are all excellent channels, guys. Informed Christians, if you want to get caught up on your celestial geometry, his work is so incredible, guys. You know, to be with him, even back with the Star of Bethlehem, before all this happened, guys. I mean, I can't believe it's 10, 7, how long I've watched some of these channels, you know. But heck, I've blogged, you know, I've done it. I had channels back then too. I've had multiple channels. This isn't I think I probably had about maybe 8, 9 channels, maybe 10 channels I've done over the years here on this platform. But Canadian prepper for all your top of the line prepper and all the Ukraine news. We need to talk about that too, guys, because Trump's going to probably get in there. I don't even know, man. We'll see it. I mean, how we got to make it through 10, 24, 24 first, right? But maybe this is this shaking of this earth again, a shifting of the tides. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. Think about this for 1 second, Homestead. I'm saying seriously, think what I'm saying. We sell land to air weapons, LAWs, surface to air missiles, SAMs. You know, we sell heavy artillery, weaponry. We sell Apaches, black, you know, all this, all our aircraft, F-16, all this stuff through Lockheed Martin and all this other, Boeing, all this, remember all this military industrial complex. We sell literally, you know, nuclear type, you know, weaponry to other countries. We sell this to other countries as America, and then we're going to restrict what you can own as an American when the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. What part of shall not be infringed do you not understand? But that is the most hypocrisy thing. And why anybody would support this government is beyond because that right that's there by the federal government, your Second Amendment right is only there, the federal government is not there for anything other than to protect. And if they're not protecting that right, then you don't have to follow their right. That we have it. That's part of our Bill of Rights. Our Declaration of Independence gave us that, correct? So that we can have that, and right? What else? We have the Constitution that protects under those amendments, correct? That are supposed to be federally protected. So fuck this government. They're feral, they're foul, they've gone rogue, and I don't follow none of it. I don't follow their corporate stupid cop suckers that enforce maritime, corporate law under the Washington District of Criminals, a corporation. I'm not part of that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I can stay here, and I'm really seriously thinking about exiting the country. We'll see what happens here in 4 days, sisters. I don't want part of this anymore. I said I'd stay here in the belly of the beast, but this is getting ridiculously sickening, looking and watching this country that was supposed to be the quote freest nation in the world, and to watch it go lockstep with every other country with the roll up your sleever with Mr. Bump Stock red flag gun laws. That's jumping. That goes against this Constitution. Take the guns first and then prosecute later. It was innocent till proven guilty. We need to lock Donald Trump in prison immediately. He should be locked up because he's not going by this Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, constitutional republic. He made an executive order, said he'll bring the National Guard to your door. So don't ever forget that I made it and said it. Who else has said it? Yesterday, I put that out as the title of the video. Donald Trump will be the president to take your Second Amendment from you. Yes, he will. He's one of them. He is a Mason. He is a Zionist. He is one of them. He does live on in Manhattan have a 58-story Babylonian tower. He's with Satan. He decorates his house with Satan. You don't think he's going to try to take your Second Amendment right away? He's working for Satan, the Antichrist. That's what his house is decorated with. Why do you think he decorates his house with the Antichrist and lives in a 58-story tower? Look at everybody run. Everybody's a thump lover, huh? I thought so too, Homestead, and that's what I'm saying. I almost thought about going to Russia too. That's crazy that you said that. Somebody offered me 40 acres of land there because they know I have 40 acres here. And they're like, they've never heard anybody speak like you from America. You're the only person I ever, hear is veteran calling out the military, and he don't like his military either. He's just a Russian citizen there who said, like, dude, you could eat so better. You try to homestead. People would love you here. Come out here. I'll give you 40 acres. And I just can't because Putin made it so where you can't do what I do. You can't fellowship with your brother. You have to go to a church. So, and Russia's right here. Russia's right up there. Russia, people think Russia's all the way around the world because they believe they're spinning around in a ball. Russia's right here. Russia's right here. They're going to come down through the north, brothers and sisters. That'll be the invasion. Gog, Magog, all that. That's what I'm saying. I ain't tripping. I ain't running from anything in Scripture. I'm not running from anything in Scripture at all. There's nothing in the book that I'm scared of like that. It's just the people I just don't feel appreciated in America. I really don't. And there's a prime example of what I'm saying. I had somebody told me to come out there on this live stream. They were, not on this platform, but when I was over on TikTok, and they told me, why don't you come over here? I had people invite me over to Australia to come over there. Seems like I'd be much more appreciated outside of this country than I am within my own walls. But I'm a veteran, so to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I guess my oath, is still I don't give mine to that, but there's still a lot of good people in America that need people like me to stand up for them. They will not. They don't have a voice, and some like the children, right? See? So there's people who need people to stand up. They can be done from another location, and I become targeted, and that's why I'm, I have a court date in 4 days where I'm facing felony charges for interfering with a peace officer. Fuck the police. Hindering prosecution. Fuck you with your stupid kangaroo capital letter law, unwarranted bullshit. Your clown show is what you are running, and I'm pointing it out. You want to target me because I'm pointing out that you're corrupt. And so I got thrown in jail myself personally for standing up to this bullshit called, the corporation called America, and what they're trying to do to my son, who's done everything he was supposed to do, but their system is never satisfied. My son is an indentured slave to probation, and I'm done with it. So I arrested his body until the state of Oregon came, swatted my house, and took him out of here. But I made a stand against this law, and I'm not going to sit there with their perverted law and corporation and not do what Christ did. He got thrown in prison for standing up to the law, and he said, conform to my image, follow after me. So what I do is because people don't have a voice out here, and people are scared as hell of the law out here. My son got put in jail, for this case that I'm talking about. When I called an attorney here, one of the best attorneys in the state, he specifically told me, if you were in any other county, I'd have you out today, but you just need to sit there. They do whatever the fuck they want over there. It's Billy Bob. So that's the county I live in. I came out here. I had to somewhere where I could afford to live, brothers, sisters, and be left alone, so to speak. So, well, I cause all my own problems. I could just shut the fuck up and stay quiet out here and live a peaceful life just like a lot of people. But some people speak up and they get targeted, and others get involved with other things because the cops are crooked as hell out here and run, just like the government, run the drugs and all the other things. And, it's people like me are a thorn in the side of the nation. Did you hold a protest during the COVID to try to get your sheriff's office to stand up so the businesses won't get. You don't think I didn't have the attention of the president of the United States of America at that time? And I ain't trying to gloat or be anything like that. Did you hold a protest trying to get your sheriff's office because there's an elected sheriff that could literally run the feds out of there, like the Bundy standoff, calling them out on these things, memeing, putting the whole community, putting pressure on your law enforcement officers to not let the businesses, this is apologize for my cursing, but it is, I'm just doing it. It is what it is. We live in that time, and sorry, I apologize, Father, I'm filthy rags, but this is that town that you heard about. They sing that song about, that fuck around and find out kind of town. You drive down the wrong driveway down here and you'll get shot. You understand? We have our own law out here. This ain't even a town, so you know. This is a township. Fuck around and kind of find out kind of township. This ain't even a town, so you know. We ain't even incorporated. We're not part of that. So we have our own law out here. People will defend their land, and they will shoot out here, okay? So just so you know, I came to a place, I didn't want to come to a place where I thought things are breaking down in society and live about a bunch of easy people. I wanted to go with people where they had a similar, and I'm not into that. But people will protect their land out here. So, and they'll protect their rights, you know, and they have their own law out here, just so you know. If you've been thinking about coming out here, so you know, this ain't that town. This is that. So when you live in that town and you're that guy who is a pain in the ass of the town, money, rich people, farmers to begin with, calling them out that your little town's about ready to pop. No, it's not. We've held this down forever. There's been multiple people. Now look at it. Largest Dollar General in the state of Oregon right here. Came out here. Every driveway was miles apart out of town. Now they're almost every mile or apart. You know, in town, you know, was every 20th lot, you know, 10th lot. Now they're every third, every other lot. Everything I said that was going to happen in this town was because of economics. So I sat on the Chamber of Commerce. I was a pain in the ass for these people the minute I got out here, both the farmers and the law, and they run and they're in cahoots. So the law has always had its eye on me. Okay. And I'm the kind of guy that gets on them for their code ordinance officer running around, the corporate officer, and, you know, save that guy. He's not literally saved his life, but say, you better, there's people going to pop him. And if they get him on the land and they put him in, they know their Fourth Amendment. Remember, I circulated that Fourth Amendment around. They have the right to protect their land. They can deem him an intruder. Not even an inspection officer can come on your land without a warrant. This guy's going on people's land. He's a family guy. This guy, you know, the last guy tried to get off the main road. Boom, he was getting popped at. But that was years ago. They tried it again because there was a bunch of money coming in down south. We're the bastard child up here in the north. And they thought they'd send that guy out the white truck again. You know, you guys got that in town. And he wasn't a bad guy. And he was going after people who were really just taking advantage of coming out here and be able to do whatever you want and let their yards get trashed. And that blows around the valley. It sucks having people out there that abuse this. I'm not into being like, you know, the Joneses, but I make sure my land doesn't look where the code ordinance officer can't even say a damn word to me. You know, I ain't going to give him a reason like that, so to speak. So anyways, this guy was going on people's land, and the community members talked to me within this community about the community because I always stood up and said, you know, if this guy comes on my land again, I'm like, I wouldn't do it. You know, you're just going to have to answer to a higher power for this, but you have the right to defend your land. You are right. You cannot avenge yourself. But if this guy illegally enters if you in the back, you're done. You're going to jail. But if he ends up with a hole in front of him, the county's going to have a lawsuit. And so phone calls were made, and what do you know? He's not running around out here anymore. So I put pressure on this community. I put pressure on the governor. I put pressure on the governor during the scamdemic. I have, you know, some people within the community who serve within the community up within their, you know, chamber above that. Like literally some of these public officials came out. We had a prayer, and I held protests across from the sheriff's office to try to protest their failure and dereliction of duty. and to stand with our businesses out here. And we wanted to be the only one in America to say, fuck you, go away, OSHA. We're not shutting our businesses down. We already did this once. This was the second time. Okay. The second time. Flatten the curve. We're not doing that anymore. That hurt the business. You take one plate from this little tiny township out here. These type of people, those employees, 2, 3, 4, people out here. This is the backbone of America, brothers and sisters. They erased a lot of the middle class during the COVID. You might not understand what happened, but the COVID did not only wipe out a lot of the low-hanging Social Security fruit, the existing conditions people, but it wiped out our middle class in America. The first time when I was protesting or holding these protests to try to get these community and law enforcement officials and other folks involved and said, hey, look, we have 2 million to 3 million of these businesses that shuttered their doors just like this one the last time they did this shit. We're not doing it. Fuck you. But get out here, Sheriff. Get these fucking SWAT. You brought that squat shit out to my house. Special weapons and tactics. You signed off a warrant to special. How about in front of our churches? But these were the businesses that I was asking for. These aren't the 100 employees, 1,000 employees. These were the backbone of this country, brothers and sisters. I feel right for what I did, irregardless if I got thrown in jail. They're still targeting my son. I hope he understands what I've done. My son has been targeted because of me, because of what I do, because of my activism. I've been way active before this. I was way active for COVID. I told you, I'm back here 10 years ago, nearly on this platform, showing you what Trump was going to do before he even was in office. They do it by white paper, brothers and sisters. It's all going by script. Well, you understand and you take the time to study. This is my passion. It's what I do, the Word of God, and study this historical record and read between the lines. Right side of history, the victor gets the spoils. You read history out of a book, you're an idiot. Well, not idiot. You're just unlearned. You didn't learn enough because you're reading the right side of history. The victor gets the spoils. The loser gets to shut up, right? You're only reading it. History falls between the lines. That's reality. Right side of history, left side of history, and then there's reality. But people don't ever want to seek that. Seeking ye shall find. The same thing you'll find with the Word of God. And that's through definition. One word study at the time. The gospel is more important than anything else. But what I was trying to do, hey, we had a prayer out there too before this protest. We were trying to do this the right way, brothers and sisters. So Kate Brown was getting pressure. I was putting pressure on the governor because I knew it wasn't the government who was doing it. It was the governors it was this done at a state level. A lot of the COVID happened at a state level. Yes, Donald Trump. And I don't think you guys understand. During the COVID, we were under what is considered soft medical martial law. When you declare a national emergency in all 50 states, this country was given over to FEMA. Trump stepped down during the COVID. I don't know if you know that. Most people don't. Everybody's forgotten what has happened. They've forgotten all these police stood down. They didn't do shit. You could basically just remember, fuck the police. Every one of them stood down and collected a damn paycheck in America. Unless you almost pretty much ran somebody over, they didn't worry about your tags. Shit, you could do anything. I apologize. This could be a little bit of a rough stream. I don't think I've ever cussed this much in one stream. Guys, I'm tired of this. Like I said, people have got to understand that this is why these things continue. So as I continue to put pressure on the governor, on the law enforcement to tell them you need to bring out this same shit they brought up to my house with their armored vehicles, same stuff we used in over the desert that was brought back over here and given to, these little towns like these towns out here. But this was actually the state of Oregon that came in and swatted my house. They're just pissed off at me because I put pressure on them during the COVID hell protests and said, fuck you guys. Remember the Bundy standoff? They told the feds to get out of there at the bridge, all that. The feds have no authority over an elected sheriff. And that's why I was trying to tell this elected sheriff, dude, use your freaking authority and tell them to get out of here. We're not going to close our doors. 2 to 3 million small businesses just like this shutter their doors. They're just a corporate entity. OSHA, tell them to leave. We're going to do business as usual. We're not flattening the curve. No 2 weeks, clamshells, all this bullshit. We're going to do regular business hours. Come on in, walk around this SWAT vehicle over here. They're protecting our businesses, but they don't give a fuck about the businesses. You think these law enforcement officers give a fuck about you? No, they only care about their damn paycheck. They're serving a corporate entity called the Washington District of Criminals. It's a corporation. And I'm tired of playing pity patter with people about this crap. This is really happening right now. They're literally forcing this every day. It doesn't matter that 99% of these cop suckers, corporate thugs, gangs, a heavily armed group of thugs. When I was a police officer, we wore the badge and, patent leather shoes and button-up shirt, and we had a billy club. We didn't have all the. There was the ass, but a billy club is meant to, a nightstick is meant to break under pressure. All this, they'll break your bones. They don't care anymore. You couldn't put your hands on a woman as a male officer. You had to call back a backup officer, female, to do a pat down or a frisk. Now a man could just stick his fucking hands down a woman's pants or vice versa. It's crazy. I rebuke this country. It's just absolutely disgusting, filthy swine, cop-sucking pigs, jackboot thugs, gangs, because when I was a thug, jackboot thug, the definition of a gang was a heavily armed group of thugs going around all wearing the same color, harassing and extorting the general public. And did they do that during the COVID? No, they fucking stood down because they're a bunch of bitches acting like a bunch of cop-sucking corporate entities that don't even know the laws that they're enforcing your capital letter Tin Man, your Tin Man, Wizard of Oz, hello, Scarecrow, Tin Man, if I only had a brain, yeah, a heart, yeah, oh, yeah, tax ID number, Scarecrow, hello, your social security number, your credit, your bond that's being extorted through your W-2 through that man, that black judge, or by those men in, here come the men in black, all wearing the same color, heavily armed, harassing, extorting their gang members, and stood down during the COVID. I have proof because I asked my public elected sheriff to stand up for these fucking businesses, and he stood there like a bitch with his tail tucked between his legs, and he wouldn't do shit. He would never even answer me, and still to this day, he's never came to my house or called me, and I've called probably 100 times. Called him, tried to do some kind of, hey, let's do this grassroots. You are the elected official here. He don't want to say a word. He's never even shown his face to me. So I stood up for you, America, when you would not stand up to this beast. What'd you do during the COVID, brothers and sisters? I hope you did something righteous. You didn't have to do what I did. I told you nobody has to be me. God didn't make most people like me. But I did try to make people understand you have rights. This mask works, then shut up about it. You have a first of freedom of speech, but don't be going over there and trying to infringe on people's freedom of choice. The mine veterans that we served, I personally served next to, right? Hey, we go over there to fight for freedom. We fought so they'd have freedom of what? Freedom of choice. That's what America was. Nobody could push that on you. There were rights. Constitutional republic, that's but judicial, legislative, executive branches of our, House, Congress, Senate, there were checks and balances, but nobody can infringe on your rights. Freedom is supposed to be dangerous. So what if he's not wearing a mask? If your mask works so well, shut the fuck up. I'm not trying to infringe on your First Amendment, but use your Fifth and be quiet, please. You can say it a couple of times, but, cool. But he didn't enforce anything during the COVID. He's a little bitch, and he didn't stand with any business, and he didn't bring out his sheriffs and his deputies, little jackboot thugs, to stand with the churches. No, we're having 7-day service now here. Nope, we're not closing these churches down. All the churches closed down. They were closing down business. And these cops are a bunch of little punks. They are little tiny men who enforce corporate law for their beast system. Don't even know they're doing it. You're Tin Man. You're all capital letter law. It's what it is. Dirt law, straw man, not party of. That is not is your name written all in capital letters? It is under this birth blood contract called your credit card, your debt slavery to the system, your first credit card issued in your name called your Social Security card, written in all capital letters attached to your blood contract birth certificate, then attached to your driver's license, corporate license, written in all capital letters that you go to court. It's written in all capital letters. That's not who I am. When they threw me in jail, I said, that's not me. What's your name? I am Apocalypse. I am Revelation. That's not your name. That's another charge. Oh, cool. Another charge. Great. Well, I've never had don't have a record right now, so maybe you could put it down an alias. I'll start my career as a criminal at 50 years old, and I'll have an alias. That's what I told my viewers I'd say that. So that's my name. But my name is Tracy. It's not all capital letters, though. My first name is T in capital, but second, RACY, is not in capital letters. My first name, again, not in all capital letters. Middle name is John, capital J, small O, small H, small N. My last name is Werner, capital W, small E, small R, small N, small E, small R. And if you can't put it in your system like that, that doesn't change anything to me. I'm not going to, it's your problem, not mine. That's exactly what I told the sheriff when they, threw me and arrested me for standing up to this jackboot thugs when they sent the state of Oregon to come swat my house because they're pissed off because I wouldn't have let them arrest my son illegally. I arrested his body. I called the sheriff's office before they ever issued the warrant, said, if you think you're going to do this again to him, throw him in a rape cage when you're not doing your job. When your job is to help him and there's a clerical error that you can fix, there's no way in hell he didn't leave this county. That was the terms of the conditions, was released. It was all community service. You jacked him for as much as you could before he left to get all the work out of him. And that's the way it's done anyways. You pay the interest on the front side of the loan, not the back side of the loan. And what the fuck is he doing this on? Take care of this. It's just clerical error. Fix it. No, they're mad at me. They did this to my son because they're pissed at me. They can tweak the numbers and then fuck with him and end up throwing him in jail. So I wasn't going to let him do it again. They made him do his probation again, and he did it again. And he could never get his hours straight. They wouldn't give it to him. I was harping, calling my attorney. There's so many people involved with this. Literally, that's why they've threw me in jail, wouldn't give me legal counsel, had to throw me out of jail after a week extra in jail, illegally keeping me longer than they're allowed to do, illegally with the stand-in, my son's attorney, which is illegal. You can't have co-defendants, same counsel on the same case, was standing in going, you better let this guy out. You're going to ruin the whole case. Under this Ninth Circuit, there's some kind of, whatever, something was held up, but it doesn't matter if this guy, you're keeping him longer than you can. There's no other county doing this in the state. Other counties are having the same issue with us. Let this guy out. You're fucking this case up, is what basically in a nutshell, this attorney's telling you. So they do that. And then they keep me 7 extra days, finally throw me out. In 4 days, I have 89 days. You have 90 days to a speedy trial before they still don't have legal counsel for me. And that's remember your Miranda rights. You have the right to shut the, right? Your Fifth Amendment. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney, right? You should, anything you will be used, anything you say will, don't even say can, just say will be used against you. Anything you say will be used against you in a court of law, right? You have the right to legal counsel and attorney. If you cannot afford one, will be appointed to you at no charge, correct? Well, so if they can't give you legal counsel, they can't keep you in jail. And so they couldn't keep me in jail. They come swat my house, spend all this money and all this resources to come. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Donald. I appreciate it. Being real. I apologize for the loose lips here today. I'm better get my butt up here and get something. It was raining out here. I don't know what. I can't. I'll figure it out. I've got a pretty big day. Hopefully you can get a lot done here. So go do that thing that's nagging you to get done. But like I said, they've got me scheduled 1 day before 90 days. I even have an Oregon statute under one of these things showing they only have 70 days. So they might already be, and I've been in contact with the legal aspect of this trial, pretrial person that takes care of it, and she thinks they're going to break the law again, like keep me in there too long. It's not breaking the law to not give me an attorney, but they haven't given me an attorney, so they can't prosecute me under the right of discovery. That means I have the right to discover all evidence. They can't hold anything back. And then I have the right to actually review all that evidence under discovery. And suppression, right of suppression, means that they can't suppress any evidence that they have. I get all co-defendants' evidence. And if they wanted to try to submit new evidence under that right of suppression, I could say, I don't have time. So they're screwed and they're backed into a corner themselves without doing nothing. They've done nothing, and no legal counsel, no nothing appointed, no nothing, no calls, no call from anybody, not the state. All right, Tracy, we fucked up, man. You want to make a deal here or something? Nobody. But they can't, because I don't have legal counsel. They can't even legally talk to me. They're the ones who see. I tried to negotiate with this county before the state got involved. I called the state. I called the feds. I tried to get everybody to understand. Hey, look, I'm trying to do this grassroots. I've got calls. You hear me calling for, like I said, 50, 100 calls calling to try to negotiate something. Going, look, I'm activist, but you still have to adhere to the law. You can't. I got issues with law, and I want you guys to take care of this, all these things. I'm still trying to use this law legally. Now, I'm not breaking any laws. I'm using my rights and, whatever. So that's why I told him, you're not going to arrest my son. Hell no. It's illegal. He already did all this. Go call. You'll see. There's no way it's an impossibility. And if you do, I'll arrest him before you get him. I live a long way away from it. I'll make sure I get to him before you do. And I did. And so I arrested his body. I arrested his wife and kept her here and wouldn't let her, leave until I thought my son was going to prison for 5 years. They're just going to railroad him. This is not the first time they've done this to my son. Okay. I live in an area where the law, this southern portion of the county down here, is even more corrupt than the ones up here in the north, in a sense, because that's where the court's at, where that judge is at, that Ted Martin, the district attorney, signing off on all these illegal warrants and all these, or whatever. And so I did what I said. I don't feel guilty. The fact that I called Lane County Sheriff's Office, Kresha Brunsman, all these people and said, look, if you do what you did to my son illegally, I'll take his body and I'll take him. And we're not going to run because he didn't do anything wrong. Well, I could have taken, hit him in a gold mine and got legal counsel and there's people who've done this and then go into the courts and say, okay, we get this straightened out and they'll figure it out. And no. We didn't run nowhere. I brought him straight home to my house where I provided him an actual sanctuary, because this is High Desert Grace and Truth Ministries, and provided him that safe place of refuge. We only had an issue when we went to go get his wife a shower. So, but it's okay. The Lord will provide. I'm not concerned about it. Like he said, don't worry about what you're going to say when they throw you in front of their kangaroo, their magistrates, their judges, you'll know what to say. So I know I'm going to go there this time. I've been appearing by phone because I'm not driving 2 hours down in the southern portion of the county, 2 hours back to not have any legal counsel for them just to extend it. So even as of right now, they think that the lady down there at the trial, whatever, that I've spoken with, she spoke with a couple other people. She thinks she's just going to try to extend it when it needs to be dropped. The district attorney legally has to drop it within 90 days under my right to a speedy trial. I didn't waive my rights to a speedy trial. If I could have bailed out, they could have said, okay, well, you have an attorney, you bailed out or whatever, you waive your right to a speedy trial. That's not what happened. They kicked me out of jail because they couldn't. Because I was calling them out, and saying, you better let me the hell out of here. I got animals. You ran over all my fencing, all my corrals, all my, I got, you shot out all my windows. You tear gassed me. You shot me in the face. You shot my son. What the hell? I don't know if my animals are alive, dead. You tear gas. One canister filled up the whole stinking, and they shot 5 or 6 of them while I was in here. My animals were still in here. And I had to shut the door behind me because I didn't want, them to get out and be, So anyways, when I was in there, that's what I was bitching about. When they were here swatting my house, that's what I was bitching about the whole time. What about my animals? I was more concerned about my son. The first thing I did, Elijah, are you okay? Bam. And they shoot me right in the face, man. I mean, they're thugs. They're thugs. They could have used all that equipment and different resources in another place. And now if they have to drop this case, which she doesn't think they will, because if they do, they're on the hook legally, which they do have to legally. You see how corrupt this shit is, guys? this crap that this county that I've been pushed through, and then my son has had to go through this. So I'm going to go tell the judge to his face, if you don't drop all these cases, that's it. I'm done playing with you. Tomorrow I'll go after your bond, Ted Martin. I don't care if you still have a bond. He's almost out as the district attorney. And look him in his face, because he wouldn't look me in the eye for the 2 weeks that he kept me in his little county. Disgusting. You guys, there's so many illegal things that go on at that jail down there. It's criminal. Literally is. They through the same hole that they put your food, they put your meds, which they don't do by a doctor, and that's not legal. They can't prescribe, the sheriff or whatever deputy can't. They put your dirty ass and your STD, underwear all through the same hole. It's so illegal how they do things at that jail. And, they kept my son in there for nearly a year when he first got involved with something, and I'm still dealing with it. He made a mistake, and he did. But guess what? It exposed that he got involved in something that I exposed, something they wanted me to shut up about. This is the same time as the COVID guys too. So my son has paid dearly. And he's actually served more time than anybody. There was 5 people involved in some, they were going into buildings that were unoccupied and didn't have anybody. It wasn't a robbery. It was, burglary, because there was nobody in these buildings. They were empty buildings. So nobody's there. But there was a gentleman that was a rapist that was under the probation, and he never served any time. He doesn't even have a conviction. All the other kids, which were teenagers, have convictions. My son is the only one that actually do any time in jail. So I was pissed they let the rapist run around in the community while my son was locked up for nearly a year. I was going ape shit, man. I was putting pressure on him hardcore for that too. At the same time I was putting pressure on him, the COVID. So I'm a thorn, in their side, and it is what it is. They tried to run me out of here, and I thought about leaving when I first, because they could just pick me off if they want to with their comments in the comment section, because they've been in the comment section. Oregon Sharpshooter has some of the best snipers in the U.S. and all their because they were here stalking my house, and so but I've stood up to them, and again, so I'm going to go there on my court date and tell the judge that he better drop all these cases. And the worst thing they could have ever done was arrest my son's wife. They didn't even have her listed on the warrant. And they have to show warrant. They have to first show it, and they didn't show it to me, which was illegal. And they have to show probable cause, and they didn't. So that should be thrown out. Why they haven't thrown her case out is because she doesn't have legal counsel. She doesn't have legal counsel. My son had an attorney. There were 2 there. The one couldn't take my case because he said he can't take any more cases, and there's no way he could take this case. It's too big. He was giving me some pretty good legal advice, though. I was pretty surprised. I was pretty blown away. I actually tried to hire. I can't. I only work for the state. So, but my son fired his attorney, and I know why, because he probably didn't even want to talk about these 180 hours. Probably just want my son to take some kind of conviction or something and not talk about anything. So my son is not stupid, but he's not some kind of criminal like that. I mean, yes, he made a mistake, but he did his time, and he served more time than all 5 guys combined. And then he double dipped in his probation. He did more than probably all of them. So I want my son let off of this. And if this county keeps pushing this, I'm never going to go away. They're going to have to come out here and shoot me dead before I stop. I'm not. So maybe they will, and I'll be able to leave the country here, leave the state, because I can't even leave the state right now. I don't have any criminal record. Can have a passport. I can go anywhere. Unfortunately, somebody in this, my son needed bailed out of jail. His bail was $100,000. I had to pay it. So I gave up my gold, and I didn't think I'd have to give up my silver because I thought it would cover it, but somebody ended up taking the rest of what I had. So I thought, I don't know how I could just bounce out of here, but I don't need any money to leave the country supposedly like that. I just need a vehicle to go get out of here if I choose to do that. So probably just take a vacation is probably all I do and come back. And I'm not going to run from anything. I think I'm going to ride out the storm in this until after this, toward election time, somewhere around that time. Maybe we'll see with this 5 of 25 with this celestial alignment that's coming that haven't really spoken much of, but there's another alignment that I've never seen before. The things that I talk about are very cyclical. They happen again and 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 again. And those are the things I talk about. But normally I'm not, never before. I'm not that guy. I don't do the never before thing. I like cycles. I like patterns and sequences and, rhythms. And that's what, my brain twitch more like a computer than I have a real brain. It is what it is. God made me this way. I didn't choose this for me. Trust you me. About 90% of my life right now is not what I want, plus 5%, but I got my puppies, I have land. I have a lot of things, I have blessings, not that I don't have. I know people would want to live and die to live the life that I live, but just the solitude is what bothers me, the being alone. But either way, I'm a standalone kind of guy. I stand up for the world. I don't know, again, anybody that held any protest against their sheriff's office to try to get their sheriff during the COVID to stand with the businesses so they wouldn't be shut down, and try to, like I said, the people in the community were leaning on me. They were leaning on my expertise to know that, nobody was going to jail. I reminded the business owner, look, if they're not going to get involved, you're not going to jail. They're not going to arrest you if we keep this business open. OSHA comes out here, tell them to pound sand. All they can do is give you a notice to appear in front of one of these kangaroo judges, down there at the southern portion of the county. And that's what they did. Everything happened. Everything I said that was going to happen during the COVID happened, when I told them if they stood up, and they did. OSHA came in and whatever, guys, I can't change anything that I did in the past. I'm not concerned about it. The one thing that I just hate that so much that it affects my son, and he has had to pay dearly. So hopefully, like I said, I'll be able to get in front of this judge in person and look him in the eye, just like I did last time. And I'm going to tell him whatever comes to my mind. If he don't want to listen to it and throws me back in that jail, he does, whatever, it'll happen. But I don't think so. I hope not. And I'm hoping he'll just drop all these charges and this whole thing will go away. My son was actually supposed to move out here with me after all these years. And he was subservient. He's like, all right, Dad, I'll move back out there with your crazy ass. Let's build a house. Let's just forget about all that activism you're doing. And you could still, but we'll just build and we'll be quiet and we'll just do what we're doing out here. Just enjoy that it's a place where we can come up, from the bottom, from the gutters, from the dirt, and grow into something that's built from hands, from scratch, and from, not all repurposed, mostly material. Plan on building them a rock house. Again, I already was going to get rocks and stuff. So the Lord will provide a way. And no matter what, he even told my son, both of us can end up in prison over this. I don't know what the Lord has in store for me. His will be done no matter what. He's proven that to me time immemorial. I've pushed one way and he'll push me the other. I can try to get outside the lines and he keeps me between the ditches, so to speak. So, narrow, hados, narrow in the same narrow way. Theolobo pushes me in between, Theolobos pitches me down. So, hopefully, like I said, this all get taken care of and I get back to doing what it is that I do. I'd like to go on the road and just teach the gospel. That's what I'd like to do. What do you want to do with the rest of your life? Well, I'd like to meet a nice lady and someday, if that's what God has in store for me, and go teach the gospel, take my puppies on the road, or come back to the 40 acres that are here and homestead with my wife. Wouldn't that be awesome? Maybe we'll adopt a kid or something. I don't know. I can't have kids. So I don't know. I don't know what the Father has in store for me. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing by building this ark that I'm building out here. So I continue to plan to archive if we have inclement weather, and I want to bury the word of God and continue. I'm doing that. It's important to be able to have he said we must endure to the end. So we have to try. We just can't lay down and be a turtle and get flipped over and not even, be stuck. We have to figure out a way to kick and right ourselves, and get ourselves in that, the tortoise or the hare, the tortoise wins the race, slow and smooth. So that's where I'm trying to not get too far ahead and run, to go too quick. But that's all God keeping me restrained right now. And I know that because this is not what I would choose for my life, but this is what he chose for me to You think it was me who stood up against that sheriff's office and held protests across from the police department? Do you think that was me doing that day? All those times it took to get all those people out, all the times we held all this, no, that was God doing it. That was God working inside of me, telling me to, be not partakers in their unfruitful works of darkness, expose them, shine a light on them, and then rebuke them if they don't want to. So, no matter what happens to me in this day and age for the rest of my days, I didn't get cheated in this life. I got to serve this country, and the people in it is what I'm saying, not the government. I did serve that system, but I'm come out of her and I don't do that anymore. And so for what I did and what I felt for serving the system, I feel like I tried to, God pours out the just measure, but my dad told me life is not fair. I lived too many years of my life trying to be fair, and that's not the way life works. But if anything, I hope that the measure that was poured out for whatever I had done by standing up again during the COVID, and I don't know anybody else that did, somehow will try to somehow equate things that I've done that were not right in the past and for this country. And now standing up to the government would be for standing up for the people, not for the government. So pray for God's will for me. If you have any prayers for me, don't pray for anything else. No matter what happens to me here, very shortly, my life is going to, like I said, 99 times out of 100, when I can pick something out, it's because I've made a lot of time investigating what the potential is, that algorithm, if you will, put it all in and mash the numbers inside my head and then compute that rhythm, that how the probability, that cycle, if you will, of the past. That's like case law that we use to push, what would happen, what could potentially, same thing. I have a lot of this stuff that happens in my head. And so again, what I think will happen is they're just going to extend it and break the law. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not going to be surprised when I walk out there and go, see, and that will be God doing it, and not me. And I don't know what that means at that point, but I would like some resolution that day. I really would. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that they just drop it. I hope I go in there and they say, hey, none of you guys have legal counsel. We can't do this case under the right of discovery and suppression of evidence. We don't have enough time to submit new evidence because we can't review it in time. But no, they'll probably just, we'll extend it out for, not even mention the Oregon statute that, says you have 90 days to a speedy trial, and they'll just try to break the law, So I'm hoping that my son's wife is smart enough to know just to shut up, as I told her, and let this run its course. She didn't do a damn thing. She has nothing. She has a massive lawsuit. They arrested her without warrant, didn't show any probable cause. She didn't do anything. She was not involved. It was against her will. I was not going to let my son get thrown in prison for 5 years in a rape cage and have some man violate his asshole and then him not be able to be with his wife before he went to get thrown in that rape cage. So, I'm a cock blocker. Okay. I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah. Whatever it is, what it is. I ain't playing. I told you, I'm not if I'm going to stand up against the federal government, the governor, the sheriff's office, the elected sheriff, nothing's going to stop from what I'm doing, because it's, we'll see. I don't know. Nothing's happened, Vanessa, since then. And I'm saying where I'm still in the same exact, nothing's happened. Nothing. Imagine living like this the whole time. Just no calls, nothing, but there is a date that's coming up, that the time expires, that they don't have any more time under that right of discovery and suppression of evidence. So I am going to ask them that day if they extend it. I'm going to say, no, that's not what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. You're going to file a motion immediately to drop these cases. Here is the Oregon statute that says ORS 135 okay, that says you need the charge to dismiss all charges, and not just this case. If you don't dismiss my son's charges, remember, I have charges because of my son. If you don't dismiss my son's charges, His wife's charges, she should be somewhere within that day or the next day. She should have court because we all got arrested at the same time. Her charges and my charges, this is going to get a lot worse. And you can throw me back in your rape cage or whatever your jail, your little county jail down here, but I'm not going to go away. You're going to have to eventually let me out again, and you can't just keep sweeping me under the rug. See, most people just go away out here. They get intimidated. They don't know what to do with this case, though. I don't think that day, again, brother, sister, I better get off here, went like they wanted it. I believe 100% God took control of everything that day, and everything. Seriously, I'm serious. I don't think that, I don't know if they shot live rounds at my son that day. I haven't talked to him. I have a no contact order. He didn't make a peep. I didn't know if they'd filleted him open and sliced him. I mean, that literally, that had to be like 6 to 8 shots. That was an automatic weapon. You can hear it in the live stream because I live streamed the whole SWAT raid. So, were those live rounds, and did they miss him? That's what I'm saying. Did he get hit? Were they some kind of rubber bullets that they shot at him? I don't know if they had. Why would they come out with? I mean, I don't know. They had that signed off to have all their special weapons and tactics, all their different, whatever they're going to. But did they miss him? I haven't even said that one single time. But you can definitely hear when he says, why are you here? Why are you taking me? What about my 180 hours? Okay, I'll go peacefully. Brrr. Imagine being me going, what the fuck? They already shot me in the face. My eye, I'm going to go to the doctor and get it looked at eventually. And because it's just annoying me and it's hard to focus and it just wanders around, like I said, and it's there. And sometimes I try to get it to, it's just annoying as hell. Sometimes I think it's something, I have a hair in my eye, so I rub my eye. It's just, I want confirmation that that's what that was. Irregardless, I still have been able to replace my windows out here. I still have put up back all the kennels and the fencing. They ran them all over, everything. They even decided to drive out after they said they wouldn't and run over more of the stuff that they didn't have to, which they said that they wouldn't. So there's so many things that were done illegal in this case, that were not by the law, for example. And I have put pressure on them, show me under the right of discovery a body cam of you Mirandizing me. I want to see you reading my rights. How come you can't produce that, state of Oregon? Throw it out. There's so many things they did wrong. And that's why I don't think that they visited this again. So hopefully they won't be stupid, but they're very much like that, where they'll just try to, or the other thing that I think they'll do, the only other option that I think that they'll try to do is say, oh, okay, well, we'll appoint this attorney for you. Hey, there's this one that's going to show up. He'll show up for you today. He can't be your legal counsel, but he'll stand in for you and you could take this deal. You never take the first deal. And I'm not taking any deal. I'm taking it to the box, remember? And they don't have any more time. They're under their right to a speedy trial. They only have 90 days from the time that they, hold their indictment and indict me of the charges, which they obviously only have a couple days to. So I know how this works. I've been in law enforcement again myself. I've been a law enforcement officer. I was a military police, and I've been SWAT trained, all that. I know how this works. So I don't know, like I said, you just imagine that day how I was feeling, not knowing what was going on. So it's just been a big blur to me, to be honest with you. I try to keep my head down, and I know I've been real boisterous and cussing a lot. And I did it before they even swatted this place, because it's just my stress level is just a little higher than, a little more than I can keep buckled down. I'm keeping my sanity, but I can't keep it from cursing and being loose lipped. But I'm always loose lipped, but I don't normally curse. I don't try to use, I used to, because I was a veteran, thought it was okay and I could get away with it, but it just doesn't, I don't like it. And I really wish I would curtail it more, but I'm trying to do the best that I can with what I can. It's just flesh, and I'm filthy rags. I'm just nothing special or again about me, or just one man trying to make it through till I die. I can't wait to die. I so look forward to dying. It's going to be such a lifting, even hell sounds a little tempting right now. The place of no knowledge, just so my brain could rest for a minute, but it's all right. I'm going to keep plugging away. Yeah. Right. Well, no, right. But they still have to appoint me legal counsel. So they need to do that or right away. That's part of why you get, you don't SWAT somebody and then give them 3 felonies. And you're right, Vanessa, you're right. And a misdemeanor and not Mirandize them. That's something that you're going to, you're going to Mirandize somebody with, but it's okay. Like I said, they're out of time and under the right of discovery. They can't, any evidence that they would try to present, I would just, under the right of suppression, I would say, no, I'm not going to allow that evidence under discovery. I don't have enough time to review the evidence before trial, and I'm not going to allow it. So it's going to have to be thrown out. They probably won't do it, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm going to make the attempt that day. Like I said, I'm actually driving down there and could have stand in front of the judge and look him in the eye, and I'm look at the district attorney and said, you better drop this shit. You better leave it alone or I'm not going away. You're almost out of here, but I'm not done. I'm going to sue your bond for sure. If there's any one person I will be going personally trying to remove from ever being in law enforcement, community service, or public service, unless they just, like I said, drop all this and maybe make me sign something that says you won't sue us. I'm not done until this goes to either trial, or they drop my son's charges, because I have to continue to push the 180 hours. I will not stand. I mean, I would let them drop the charges, but that's not going to make actually, I'm not concerned, guys. The 180 hours will never go away now. They can't make what they did to my son go away. They can't make that go away. So I said it on the SWAT, on the live stream. I mentioned his 180 hours multiple times. Pointed at the board, talked about calling the feds, calling the state, trying to do it. He spoke about the 180 hours. Okay. I did it for how many streamed for nearly 300 hours, 17 days before they finally came and, issued their SWAT, their SWAT raid out here and brought in and destroyed and wrecked my property and wrecked my vision and separated me and my son. We were supposed to build a house. We could have had it built by now, and now we can't. It's not going to. There's no time. So definitely think that Ted Martin should be his bond should be sued. He is bonded, and but I'm going to allow my son to do and see what he wants to do. I'm going to take my son's lead on this when I get out. So this will all be pending on what my son wants to do, guys. Seriously, I stayed here for my son. I could have bought a double cab Tacoma with the money that got stolen from me, like he told me, or the precious metals that I needed, and been on the road and enjoying my life right now and pasturing and with my dogs and had my whole dream, everything I ever wanted. But I stuck it out for him because he needs somebody to stand by his side, just like I stuck it out here in America. I didn't bail on you guys. I stuck it out, and during the COVID, I stood up, and irregardless, I knew that this could happen. These results would happen or could happen, but I'll never go back and change what I've done. I wouldn't, not in a million years. I'm glad that I stood up during the COVID. I'm glad that if I'm the only man who did it, then great. And it doesn't make me special, but I'm glad that I did. And I feel so bad for my son that he's had to pay such a dearly cost. So hopefully someday, here in the near future, I'm not about seeking vengeance. There should be, my son's life was taken from him. He already did, all the time he needed to do, and then double time. All that time he could have been doing so many other things with his life. His wife went and worked after 5 days a week working, went and would volunteer 2 days of her time with him working 7 days. They need their life back. They need to get, I don't want to worry about building him a house. I'm hoping he'll be able to get some kind of, what they did to him. Again, not vengeance to seek vengeance, but he's sued for what his lawsuit. He should be paid millions of dollars. $1 million ain't crap anymore. I'd like my son to buy a house and move into it and live his life and be left alone for the rest of his life. And whatever he chooses to do with his life is, because that's all he was doing, was leaving everybody alone. He wasn't fucking with anybody. 42 months after making a mistake, they dinked him on a formality and tried to throw him in prison. 42 months, 4 years later, brothers, sisters, we all make mistakes. He did more time than anybody. This is ridiculous. As his father had to stand in, not his father, I'm not his father. His father's in heaven, which is not in the sky. I'm his dad, and he knows that. So thank you, Father, for this difficult time. And I'm hoping that he will make this come to pass, guys, and I'll get all this behind me, because my life is just, it's a wreck right now. I'm trying to keep my life together. I have, 65 acres of land that I look after, and I don't have a regular stream of any income coming in on none. And so I have to push myself every month to get the things sold in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, which is not an easy task. So with all the extra added stress right now, nobody to help me, not one single hand on the other end of a board, nobody to wake up and work with, whether they're a friend, a wife to sleep next to, or nothing. Just, it's been difficult. So it's one of those more proofs in my life that, again, that I told you, it's God doing it. Because if I had what I wanted, I worked towards the complete opposite. I should have a community out here. I'm not that bad of a guy. I don't care about my looks. There's people that aren't as good looking. I'm not that good looking. Hey, there we go. It ain't about looks. I'd rather have somebody who would treat me like a freaking king, and I treat her like a king. I don't care. It ain't about looks to me. It's about having somebody, a team, being a team with somebody and having somebody I saw this blog. I got to go after this, and I thought it was pretty cool. This lady, she was sitting there with her daughter in the background, and she was talking about her husband, and she's saying how she loves her husband because he just tries to fix if she has a problem. It's any problem. A good husband's like that, and even he'll try to overdo it. Like if she just wants some advice, he's gonna try to, and that's what we do, men. Where, she said when she met him, she said that she came on. I don't know if you guys seen this blog. She said, what attracted me to him? He had the roughest hands. His hands were so rough, that I know he could fix. What happened to women like that wanted a partner or somebody women can do the same thing. I'm not saying, but that's what she was kind of cool, because she's like, sometimes I'm just trying to ask him for advice, but he, with his brain, just wants to help me and fix it, because that is his nature. We like to fix, we like to build, we like to, that's just, some of us are, that's what we do. We're problem solvers, and especially if it's somebody we care about. If they got a problem, we want to fix it. It doesn't matter what it is. We want to fix that problem. So just don't have that. Kind of sucks. And I thought that's so beautiful what she was saying. I'm like, damn, what a lucky man to have a beautiful daughter. And his little daughter was in the background going like this the whole time, agreeing with mom. You could tell she was, her dad was definitely somebody who was a hard worker. And, like I said, so I don't know what women are wanting anymore these days. I don't particularly care. So I don't think like I said, I think it'd be better to leave the country than I would to find somebody in this country. So I just think I don't have the morals and the values of this country anymore. Mine is much more traditional and old school. Like I said, like that lady, like she's saying, if you hadn't seen it, guys, it's a neat blog, and it's neat to see that people have. I know so many people have somebody that cares about them so much. And if you have that, you're so lucky. You truly are. I have treasure too, but that is a treasure that, once again, you can't put a price. You can't measure that with dollars or cents. It's just so valuable. So we'll see what God has in store for me. I don't want to be impatient. And again, maybe he's working on that perfect, equally yoked woman, but I don't know if she would exist inside this country. So we'll see. If I have to stay here, it'll all be of God's will. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I got to get something done here today. I've got, things to do. I'm trying to sell my land, and so I can get something going here. And I have somebody that's going to show up and take a look, which is really cool. I don't know how that exactly is going to work out. I actually have a little bit of I have, a couple $1,000s worth of left of payments, but I paid on it for 6 or 7 years. So I'm sure I could work something out, and I'll tell them, make arrangements if they want the property or whatever. It's a really nice 5-acre parcel. So, and I got other things to do out here, guys, this fleshy stuff that I wish I just could get in a truck, fight or flight. I choose to to flight and go. So have an exit plan, guys. Please don't sit there like a duck in a pond. You know, if things break down, you want to get away from population density and get away from people. You can sit there and fight, but it's not my choice. You got two options. It's fight or flight, and I'm going to choose flight. So you can choose to fight. I've already done my fighting, as you can tell. I've stood as strong and as tall as I can against the system and everything. So enjoy your day. Try to do something today. 10/24/24 is right around the corner. You're talking about 50 some days. So that Jovian Gash pinch, go check out the video channel videos. It's one again on the title shift, about 3 minutes and 33 seconds there. That's that one. And then there's two that are about a minute long. The sixth extinction. And again, always kind of need to make it a thing. The homework assignment is go read Matthew 10:34-39, please. All right, guys. Love you. If you want to support the channel monetarily, there's links in my bio onto PayPal and to CashApp. Your comments are just as valuable. Thank you so much for your time. And go out there and take up your cross today. You should be doing it every single day. Okay? Much love. Always Agape. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. I am Revelation. Thank you for letting me bring you some truth. I am Apocalypse. Whoa.